our now already paranormal radio show, where we will be discussing actual audio and visual clips captured during the team's investigations. Hear firsthand eyewitness accounts from fellow team members and special guests. Now smash that like, subscribe, and follow button, and let's get ready to welcome team leader and your host, Eric Vanderlaan, and tech specialist and co-host, Mike Delcoro. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Monday. And as you can see, we got Joe over here filling in for Eric tonight. My name is Mike Delcoro. I'm an investigator with War Party Paranormal and the co-host of War Party Paranormal Radio Show. And tonight we got Joe. Joe, how we doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Mike. Thanks for having me on. Hello, everybody. Eric couldn't be in here tonight, like Mike said, but my name is Joe Torino. I'm the co-team lead for War Party Paranormal. So happy to be here tonight. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got a great show for you guys tonight. We got a couple of our brothers from up north, the North Paranormal War Party Paranormal North team. If you guys are unfamiliar, we actually have a team starting up there. James is and Sean from Scaredy Cat Paranormal, and James Meader. He was a long-time OG with War Party, and we're gonna have those guys come on here in just a little bit. We got a intro that Eric put together for y'all. You want to see it?
Yeah, let's check it out. Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. Awesome. And we'll bring in James. James, how we doing tonight, brother?
Hey, guys, that was a great intro. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries. And then we also have Sean Flynn, and we'll bring him on. Hey, Sean.
Hey, guys. Awesome intro. That was really, really cool. I like that.
Awesome, yeah. How we doing tonight, bub?
We are good. I am good, thank you. Hope you guys are doing well.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just want to spread awareness, get you guys out there, and let everybody know that you guys are representing up in New Jersey. And James, where do you actually live exactly? Because I always see you when I go up north, but I don't. Say that again.
I live in Ramsey, New Jersey.
Okay, all right.
It's on the Rockland border.
I am Pompton Plains, not too far from James. Not too far.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so everybody's right there in the same area. And
yeah, so if he wants to go to a cemetery or something, hey, Jim, come on up, and I'll just meet him somewhere.
That's awesome.
And what I love about up there too is like you guys are so close to so many different states. Like you guys are like in that perfect little section that you drive a couple hours and kind of any direction and you're gone. So it's
I know, and we
so much.
We go up there and we're just
historic up here.
Say again?
I said it's really historic up here.
Yeah.
With the Revolutionary War, French and Indian War, all those types of wars. So there's a lot of interesting places we can explore.
Yeah, I know. And it's almost like when we're down here and we get to go up there, we're like little kids in a candy store, because there's so much history and there's, just a few hour drive and you're across state lines and there's so much going on in the paranormal field. Down here, it takes us about 8 hours just to get out of the state, as you know.
But yeah, you guys got a ton of history up there. We're super jealous. We love coming up and visiting y'all.
Love having you, man.
And Joe, you were just recently up there with James, right?
Yeah. I was up there 2 weeks ago now. Yeah, I can't even remember. But I got to spend a little time with James. I was up there with my wife and visiting family, but I was able to get a free day to go and play around Letchworth Village with James and his dog Maisie. She came out investigating us. Parapup, I loved it.
That's great, awesome. And Sean, we the last time I saw you up there, it was a while ago, but we actually were in the same location. We went up to Ledgeworth, and what a spooky, sad, amazing place. So much to say. Like, that place it's like I said, it's super sad what happened, but when you go there, it's just so amazing to see the structures and see like everything's still there and like all the stuff that's still left behind. And what an experience that was.
That was actually it's funny. Actually, we're going to Saturday for me, James, and our Vanderlaan investigators join us Saturday too. So we're going
I could go there every day. That place.
Yeah,
for 100%. Me,
it's a great location, and we can do it in the daytime.
Yeah.
No police, no trespassing. We don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, exactly. And we went during the day, and you could get into a couple of those buildings and you wouldn't know it's daytime. I mean, but yeah, and James, you've been with War Party for how long now?
I think 8 years.
Has it been? Yeah, 8 years, right?
It's been about that, 8 to 10. I think more along 8 though.
Yeah. Wow.
But James, tell us a little bit how you got into the paranormal field, in the first place. Like what brought you on? What curiosity? Tell us your story. What's up? Let's let the people know about you.
And I were together 2 weeks ago. We talked about the same thing, and we basically had a parallel upbringing. Yeah. I was brought up in a house very big on Catholicism, which would mean the devil is in everything. So when I was younger, I had imaginary friends, which weren't really imaginary. And it was sort of cool because I didn't realize it until I was older when my mother and I were talking, and she, told me she never saw what I was looking at, but the fact that I knew it was there, right, it was sort of neat. And when Joe and I were together, we had a lot of similar experiences. I've seen ghosts since I was little. I've had other different things happen to me throughout my life. So I got very, very interested, but I pushed everything back down below because I was so scared that the devil was going to get me. And it's been just recently, since I'm getting older and I'm not really afraid anymore, that my gifts are sort of rising to the surface again, which is sort of neat. When Joe and I was at Letchworth Village, he pretty much confirmed everything I was feeling, which made me feel really, really good.
Yeah, wow. we were literally just back and forth with,
the same feeling. So it was really
I was
cool.
like, I want to go into this room. He's like, yep, go in. And he's like, you feel this over here? Yep. And then describe everything. We felt gusts of wind. We felt just charged, like,
We also went into the hospital, which I know, Mike, you've been in, and there was some negative stuff going on there. I walked in, I'm like, I'm not staying here.
Yeah. I'm as sensitive as a rock, I always say. And when I was down in that morgue area, and I felt, like I was unwelcome. You know what I mean? And I just felt that heaviness. And there was a couple times that, the three of us got a little spooked there. And I remember even Sean was like, listen, you got to back up. You got to back up and you got to relax. You can't, if something's on the level in here, you're not welcome here. And he kind of told him what's up, and it was definitely eerie. It was definitely eerie. And the people that aren't familiar with what we're talking about, this place, if you could watch it and you have time, it was Geraldo Rivera put an expose out on it in the early 90s. Yeah, and it was about, it's called Willowbrook, the Great Disgrace, or something of that nature. And it talks mostly about Willowbrook, but Ledgeworth is also in there as well. And it was a sane asylum, where they put the mentally handicapped and people that were unfit for society, as they would say. So sometimes people would get just dropped off there that had dementia. Sometimes people that were just physically handicapped, they didn't even want to take care of anymore. They didn't want to, they were embarrassed, and they would just drop them off there. It was really sad. And then
women who were being mean, they were dropped off there too.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true,
But it's true. Back in those days, that's how it was. If you were an insubordinate wife, you'd be taken up the road to Letchworth. See you later.
Yeah, it's and it was open till after that the expose, and that was in I think they finally closed the doors in 1996. To think that stuff is still going on up until 1996, and I don't want to blame some of the staff. I mean, some of the staff obviously might not have been the best, but they were just extremely underfunded, for a state facility, just like most of the asylums out there.
Yeah. And you got to remember too, like, back in, the early days when they came, like, mental health and, behavioral sciences it's a relatively new, it's relatively new, how the understanding of different disorders and different things like that. I mean, we're still learning about it every day, but back in those days, I mean, they were trying all sorts of different
tests
methods and
yeah.
We're going to dunk this person in ice cold water. We're going to put them in hot water. We're going to, electrocute them. Granted, ETC is still done today, but, or ECT. But back then it was very like,
primitive.
It was torture. It was,
yeah.
These people were, were tortured. I mean, in the name of science and trying to get them better. But I mean, it's brutal looking back at it. So, to come and to be able to experience, like, through experiences, through evidence that, we've gathered, like, it's amazing to be able to step back in time like that.
Yeah.
In some of these locations.
And another thing real quick I want to add, I know Joe can is sensitive to spiritual and different types of things that are going on the other side of the veil, I would say. And James, you're sensitive as well. Sean, I never asked or found out. I know that you rely a lot on the equipment or anything, but also, do you ever feel or have any kind of connection with the?
Yeah, I'm an empath. So
yeah.
Okay, you are.
So I've gone that place many times by myself, and after you caught that new friend of ours, I'm like, all those years been going by myself in the basement. There were times I've been down there, and I'm like, I gotta get out of here. It gets really, really. This was in that location in the basement.
Yeah.
No way.
No, and I mean that basically where we entered is right in that area where Sean's talking about, that nasty area. And I mean, this last time, we literally walked in through the door to the side of the building, went into the room to the immediate left, and we're out of there in 5 minutes.
The dog wouldn't even stay there.
But the dog was so weird. It's exactly. She looked like she was being pushed out, is how it looked at, because she came in and then you just see her just backing out, like.
And then she wouldn't come back in, and she's very food oriented. I held up crackers for her. She would not move. She's like, I'm not going back in there. Hell no.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably so much residual energy there as well.
Yeah.
I do think that there's intelligent things going on there, but I also think that there's a lot of mixture between intelligent and residual. What's some other spots that you guys have investigated up there that are noteworthy, that kind of pop into mind?
Yeah, I was with another group before I came back to a war party. Not that I ever left war party, but I did a lot of residuals in the area before I met Sean. So it's like no place I can go back again to. But Letchworth is the place, man. Let me tell you.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've been actually September a couple of events. We have Selma Mansion in September, and 2 weeks later with the George Taylor House we were last year. That's when
Yep.
me, James, and Candace, she's secretary treasurer of George Taylor House, and we're upstairs. We heard a male voice say hello.
Wow.
Yeah, we're in the room together. Like, wow, check it out. You hear that? Yeah. And
That was wild.
and we thought it was a husband, but it wasn't. He was downstairs.
Selma Mansion's another really great
Oh, yeah.
place to investigate in, and it's very spooky as well, you know. Kind of like something out of a scary movie almost, you know. That place had a lot of history going back to the Revolutionary War, things of that, political stuff as well, and we've captured a couple of really crazy EVPs of children in that building.
Upstairs in the attic. Was it?
You know, that's what I heard, where a lot of people get that, but we were on the first floor
Okay.
and when we got it, and we had 2 different recorders and 2 different child's voice. She sounded female, and one was calling out mommy and one was calling out daddy.
Wow.
And it was really unbelievable.
But last year we were there. I remember it was like 1:45, and we had one room. We had equipment in one room. So I walked out, and like like when you almost bump into somebody that try to move. That's what I did. I saw a woman in a black, old woman with a black veil over her face, and it was funny because there was another girl there. She said she experienced the same thing around the same time. So, and in the morning time, where everybody was still sleeping, I was up, and I felt more energy in the morning because everybody kind of settled down like that, and I got the perfume of that woman in the second floor, like a strong perfume. That was about it. So
that's funny that that you said that. And actually, Franny, I remember that she said also that she had an interaction with a child upstairs. And I forgot that she did a solo session up there, and she was getting some remarkable responses. And James, I like the way that you investigate, and I like the way that you are. Sometimes you're very blunt and to the point, but you're very skeptical in a way too, even though you are you're sensitive and empath, and you are an investigator, and you investigate with a lot of different equipment and things like that. But I like your style. The first thing you go to is debunking. Not everything is paranormal, and you got to check that out first and kind of look at what you're looking at. And I always say this: you got to be open-minded, but you can't be so open-minded that your brains fall out.
Yeah. Well, you have to remember, I work with Scotty and John, and the way John is like, you prove to me it's paranormal, because we have to prove what it's not before you can prove what it is. And when you find legitimate evidence of paranormal activity, that is a trip in itself, man. That is such a high, such a rush. Unbelievable.
I've learned
this is it. This is the proof.
And that's one thing, I'll second you there. I mean, Zap and Scotty are great mentors, and I've learned a lot from them, both of them, especially on residential cases and things of that nature as well. And you guys, are you doing residentials up there, James?
Well, that's what I want to get into. I enjoy that more, knowing I'm helping a family, that is fighting fear and terror. I've dealt with it. I know what it's like. Not a good feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
On the same thing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, you're afraid. It's a horrible feeling.
Yeah, and I don't talk about it much, but I've had similar things go on when I was younger too. That's kind of what got me interested in this field. Very, very startling, very frightening. And usually when somebody's calling a paranormal team in, you're their last resort. They're that's not the first thing they're going to do if they're worried or scared, they're going to try other things. They're going to be like, all right, you know what, this ain't really going on. They're going to brush it off. They're going to talk to maybe a couple close friends. They're going to do this, that, and the other thing. By the time they get to the point where they're calling a paranormal team to come in, if they're serious about it, usually their last resort. So, that's something you got to take into consideration too. These people are frightened and they want to know what's going on, and that's awesome too. So if we can get that out there, that in the Jersey area, if you know our name, the War Party, we're a reputable team. If you ever need to reach out to James, he has the Facebook page, War Party Paranormal North, and you can reach out to him, or you can reach out to us, and we'll get you in contact with them, and to help you out there in residential cases, things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I never really was one residential, but I figured residential as it's like it would be you're dealing with more like I'll say environment, like in a house, like electrical, all that stuff. So they'll automatically like go into a house. They'll automatically kind of like you want to kind of like erase like things possibly could be cause of it, like that.
Right.
Exactly.
What's
Yeah,
that?
it's not like us going to Letchworth Village and running around and trying to see what we could find there. And in a residential case, you're trying to alleviate the fear that the people are having, because, like Mike said, that they are afraid at this point to call in some people to come into your house and say, find out what's going on.
Right.
So it's a lot more trying to find for the logical. Well, that's exactly how James investigates. He tries to seek out the very logical stuff. Is your bed headboard on the opposite side of like where the fridge is, or an AC unit? Something that could give off high EMF that can cause hallucinations and nightmares and different sensations. It's finding all sorts of this stuff. Is the breaker box tripped and now giving out like a crazy amount of EMF, that's what we're trying to find. We're more trying to disprove the paranormal at that point, until
you also have to
become its paranormal.
We're also trying to empower the client.
Correct.
Exactly.
So they can handle this on their own.
Right.
Because once we leave,
they're on their own
themselves, basically.
I stole this line from Zap because, like I said, he's one of my mentors there, and it's not like we have a bottle of Ghost Be Gone and we're just going to be like, all right, and we're out of here. You know what I mean? There's usually a lot of homework involved, and different things, and you have to have the tact to talk to people in their own home too. You don't want to go in there and be like, there's nothing going on, this is fine, or oh my god, there's a demon and this is the and scare the living piss out of these people. There's a certain tact that you have to take to it and everything, and it's it's definitely not always the funnest thing either too. You know what I mean? Like, we've done some where we walk into some really bad situations, where it's not necessarily paranormal, but just their lifestyle.
The environment itself.
The environment. So yeah, it's, you got to know what you're walking into.
Right. Yeah.
But
for me, I've really learned a lot from Joe, Mike, and James. So you guys, and I thank you for that. And I said, residential, like residential, I would probably I could set a base camp somewhere and sit in the dark and quiet, just listen. It's kind of listen, just listen. That's what I did. So kind of like try to listen for things. Then, and like I said, then you speak to, like say, the certain way you speak to a homeowner, the ease and way. That's where Jen comes in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what we do. We all have our parts, that we do, and that different people that take leads and things like that. Hey, look, it's Eric.
Okay.
Welcome. Yeah, sometimes I miss the like tonight, even like some of the weird stuff that Eric would just blurt out and just make us all laugh, because they're like, what in the world was that? Where'd that come from?
Chicken salad. Just messing with you, Eric. I love you.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a different world up there, and there's so much going on. And James, we were over in Gettysburg, right? And that's not that far, really. That was it was a good time. That was a good time for sure. We didn't get out to investigate really. We were tired and doing so much. Actually, I think Eric screwing around a little bit. I went back to the B&B and went to sleep. But yeah, I mean, there's so much. There's so much up there, and that whole history and everything, and just so wild. Like, we were at the White Hill Mansion. Have you guys done that?
And that's when I met Sean for the first time, when I came down and visited you guys.
Yeah, when we were doing the event there,
Yeah, I did it years ago for a public one, and I did it myself. So yeah, I've been there for you.
Yeah, that place was crazy too. Just on like the history. It's on the Delaware River. The Navy stopped in there during the Revolutionary War, and the Hessians took over the house for a little while. And then it was supposedly a brothel. Then they had a speakeasy in the basement. Like, there was just so much history. The house is almost 300 years old. That's not something we have in Florida like that.
No, that would have been torn down twice and rebuilt.
Yeah, there would have been high rises and condos with a pool.
Even last year we did the George Taylor house. I think correct me if I'm wrong, James, but you're saying that there's more to history than just the history itself, right?
Right,
without a doubt.
Yeah, you said you were speaking to again, guys, more.
We were getting a lot of information from the ghost box and some other things, that there was a murder, and there was somebody that disappeared and they can't find the body. So things started piecing together, and Sean and I are like, well, this might be very interesting. We want to go back now.
Right.
Yeah. So when we do that, September, and it's like I said, there is pieces to the puzzle. Like, you go into a location, they tell the history, but it's like layers of history that they don't know about. That's the whole thing about it, is trying to put the puzzles together and find.
That's true. You got to kind of figure out what
the story.
Yeah, you're kind of like a detective.
Without a doubt.
You're putting things in line. It's okay. This matches up with this. This is the reports. This is the history. It's all falling into place. We have names. We have dates. We have and it's freaking amazing. Like, I love it so much. I love the history. Like, I've always been into history. You guys know my history as far as like my paranormal experiences already, like from young. So like, to be able to do that, and especially when we get to do like the events that we do at all these historic locations, to show people and right in front of their faces, live happening. It's like, this is this because of this that happened here. It's amazing. Like, I love it so much.
For instance, and I'm sure some of our listeners have heard us talk about this before, but the old Davie Schoolhouse, there's a house on the campus called the Veely House, and we investigate that on almost on a monthly basis at one point. Now we're doing a little bit less because we have a couple different locations and everything that we're doing events at, but we actually found the guy's name first and last and figured out how he died, and had no idea about any of this, and brought it to the educational director. And then she verified that, yes, this guy's name, that's his first and last name, and that is how he died. And we had no history on this. And if we weren't doing these events and going there so many times to capture this evidence, we would have probably never have caught that. If we went there a couple times, like filming and just doing our thing and getting out of there, we would have never caught this. But by having our whole team there and spending this much time and going back and back, we even get, at this point, when you go somewhere so often, we get our names called out on EVPs and different things like that. It's like almost like you're building a relationship, right?
Yeah.
with these people that are remaining at these locations.
Hey, when you found that guy's name, did the activity tamper down a little bit?
It did, and it's almost, we don't get, which is funny that you say that, because his name was Paul Hammer, or is Paul Hammer, and we got the name. We kept getting the name Paul on EVP, like everywhere we went.
Yeah.
And then now that you say it, after we figured out who he was and we talked about him, and she actually dug out a picture of him in an army uniform holding a
bugle, I think it was.
French horn.
And
they brought the picture into the house and they were talking with him. But yeah, after we did that, we noticed that we don't get his name as much as often.
That's probably what he wanted to tell you. he told
he
his
was there.
story so we could move on.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
But the thing with that place is there's so much going on that, like, the Paul Hammer was just a tiny speck of that, that whole place. There's a whole nother house on property that, at least I could say, we've gotten at least 8 different names in that one house.
Which house?
And at the
Veely house.
the one
Walsh.
next door, the Walsh house, the Walsh Osterhout house. To a point, like, there was a point that I would walk into that house, and as soon as you would turn on any device, the first thing you hear is, "Hey, Joe, hi."
Yeah, they like Joe in that house a lot.
Well, they did until they remodeled everything.
Oh,
No, they remodeled everything.
They did. And you know what? They say that stirs up energy, but it actually kind of killed it. I feel like,
because how the layout was before, in the back room was just it was a dining room, let's say, and it was wall to wall antiques. There were shelves completely around the room. It's a huge room. And it was antiques all over the place. They had a piano in the corner. They had an organ. They had all sorts of different trinkets and little things, just gathered of the time period and all that. So, I mean, I feel that after they remodeled and got rid of all that stuff, because now they're using that as an event space for, like, weddings, receptions, stuff like that. The activities, it's died down, or not even that it's died down. It's changed. It's like if there's a whole new cast of characters.
What is that?
I don't know. It's kind of like if maybe there may have been, I don't know how everyone feels about haunted items, like objects. I feel maybe there was some attachments to some of these objects that were then removed from the home, and now who's there are just the primary.
So I thought that too, right? And then I went into the back room, and all that stuff that they had on the walls is still in the house. It's in storage in the back room. Oh yeah, by the way, Eric just reminded us we have an event there this weekend, guys. So if anybody's local, you can come out and check out this place for yourself.
Yeah, this Friday.
Old Davie Schoolhouse. There's actually 3 locations on the campus. There's a school and then these 2 houses that we're talking about.
Now, question. Do you think it's possible that moving things around that the energy get dispersed, and maybe it'll take a while for it to kind of like get back together again? Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know, because they usually say that when you disrupt and remodel, that the activity normally would spike. But in this case, I feel like it started to die down. Not that we don't get activity there. We still get activity there.
Yeah, we still get a bunch of activity there.
But when we were there prior to them doing this, it seemed like it was more active. And I don't know the reason. I wish I knew. Maybe they just...
I mean, but see, that's the good thing about being able to do events and at locations like so often. It's it's an ongoing paranormal investigation. Every time you go, it's a different experience. You're catching up with some of people you may have been speaking to in prior times, and then now you're having new stuff come up. Then you have to also contend with the guests themselves and the energies that they're bringing in to the space that itself too. So there's just so many different factors and so many different ways that you can really, like, if an investigator standpoint, you could sit down and be like, I'm going to observe like this type of group tonight. These are the rowdy people. These are the people that every house they're getting, they're loud and they're jumping around, they're having fun, and then this time I'm going to stick with like the group that's like kind of quiet and just observing.
And that's another thing too. You guys have held some public events up there, right?
No,
not yet. I know you guys were working on it.
A couple.
We've like last year, George Taylor and Peachfield. We invited some people. It's public event, not yet. That's we haven't done that. Yes, that's our goal. We definitely, like I said, it'll be fun. It'll be fun doing that. See kind of people come there, kind of like to sit there, Yeah.
We'll get a table at an event eventually. We're doing baby steps now.
Yeah. Yep. Well, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of
there.
Yeah, exactly.
Sean's an expert on what is that? Chatbox? What's it called?
Oh, Instagram.
Instagram. Sorry, I'm old. What can I tell you? Instagram, which I don't know how to use, but he's going to show me. We're going to get together one of these days, and so we can start getting more media attention.
Well, it's funny because on Facebook there's a lot. I'm mostly Instagram, Facebook. I don't really post a lot on it. So then there's a lot of people on Facebook that are on Instagram. So and it's TikTok.
Yeah, I know it's a lot. It's almost a full-time job, right?
I mean, if it wasn't for Instagram, I wouldn't have met Sean in the first place. So,
right.
Yeah, that's true. Sean was one of our my first friends on Facebook there for sure.
Yeah, then there's TikTok, which I won't do. that's
I played around with it a little bit, but not a whole lot. Yeah, I know that 305 Paranormal were there and with a couple of our guests, and our guests captured a full body apparition in that house, and it's wild. They were doing the Estes method, I think, and they're right next to the person is standing. It looks like an older woman with like a black veil, like kind of just the way it looks.
That's creepy.
And yeah, it is super spooky. And I wasn't there to witness it, so but everybody that was there said there was no people standing next to the person doing the Estes.
And nobody dressed the way that woman was dressed, because it's like a long black gown. The legs are cut out. It's like faded, but you see her. You see her face, you see her hair. It's amazing. It's an amazing capture. One of the best I've seen.
Yeah, and I think that the educational director, Kim, too, had a photo from one of the guests that had sent it into her, that there's like an outline of an apparition in like just like a white, smoky looking type, and pictures can be very deceiving. Pictures are hard to capture something in. There's a lot of pareidolia and stuff in pictures, but this was a pretty amazing looking photo. And it looked like a woman standing on the stairwell. So yeah. And I mean, this other picture it's not like, oh, there's something reflecting in the glass. Like, this is a MFing person standing there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
For lack of better terms, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an MFing person, man. It's freaking crazy.
So Jenny just said that she was still setting up when it happened. So yeah.
No, that's wild, man. That's wild. Hey, but before we continue, I think it's time for us to take a little break.
That's right. We're running a little over. We got a couple ads to play, and then we'll be right back with you folks.
What is up, my paranormal peeps? You may be wondering why we're holding something like these in our hand, and my buddy's going to tell you all about it.
The reason that we have this paranormal equipment in our hand is because we're giving a big shout out to the Ghost Hunter store, one of our sponsors. They're your one-stop shop for everything paranormal.
That's right, and you may have seen some of these equipment on your favorite paranormal TV shows.
Exactly, especially the Haunted Files on Paraflix.
Mike's got that right.
All right, guys, so check them out, and if you use the code word Ghost Gone Wild,
not Girls Gone Wild,
Ghost Gone Wild, in your checkout, you'll get a discount on your purchase. Thank you, guys.
Peace. What's up, my paranormal people? Eric and Mike here from the War Party Paranormal Radio Show, wanting you to remember the importance of hydration. Remember, we hunt ghosts. We don't want to turn into ghosts. Dehydration can lead to inflammation and even degenerative disease. So hydration is crucial.
Whether you're up all night investigating the paranormal, sky watching, or Bigfoot, Fuel Up Hydration System is designed to support motivation, concentration, and rejuvenation with the best immune-enhancing delivery system available today.
Experience the benefits of Fuel Up with their Feel the Difference money-back guarantee.
Visit fuelup.gg/warparty for their special offer that includes free shipping. Fuel Up for life. Hey, Eric, how did we do?
We did awesome.
All right. Well, maybe we should stick to hunting ghosts. I don't know if commercials is our thing.
True that.
I like that commercial.
Yeah.
I still laugh every time.
I know.
I like that Full Life. It reminds me of the New World Order Wrestling. Full Life.
Yeah.
That's all cool. I like that.
So, guys, also, if you don't know, that some of our listeners out there, some of our watchers out there, we have a show on Paraflix called The Haunted Files. It's Eric and I and different team members investigating the paranormal in different unique locations. We just finished up our season 2, had our season 2 finale. It was called Asylum, and Eric and I investigated an old mental health asylum that was sitting on a World War II base. I mean, this place was absolutely terrifying, and we just came out with the episode. It's out there now, so it's now streaming on Paraflix, and if you use the Haunted Files 25 as a promo code, you get 25% off your annual subscription. I think it's only like $4.99 a month, guys. Check it out, and then if you use a discount on top of it, it's peanuts. So check it out, and here's a little trailer, and you can watch that now. We're already filming for season 3, so got that coming. This episode of The Haunted Files, Eric and I travel to one of the darkest locations that we've investigated in an extremely long time. This abandoned mental hospital is what nightmares are made of.
I feel very uneasy. I mean,
Me too. I got like goosebumps too.
did you hear that? First thing I get is out and incubus.
Dude, that's an incubus, right?
Yeah. Out and incubus.
An incubus is a demon in male form.
Sort of happy that we're leaving, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Pretty freaky, so we're out of here.
Yeah. To be honest with you, like, there's very few places that I'm like happy to get out of. And this is one of them. Just didn't feel right in there. I'm kind of happy that we're headed out.
All right, we got a lot of police back. Yeah, you know, Dan just said we both look really nervous, and it's true. I mean, we were freaked out. Like, this place was extremely
Bad.
dark.
Bad news stuff like that. Really.
Yeah, it was bad juju, man. The whole place just felt just bad. You know, we're I don't know. When we were getting what's that?
I said, how can you not want to see that show?
Yeah, I mean, it was, and it's you could see, you know, you could see during the investigation. I mean, we were freaked out. It was different.
We guys hearing things, or you just felt something really, really bad?
So it felt really bad. We were getting, you know, incubus on the ovulus, and then Eric was doing some dowsing rods, and just the everything was like lining right up, and you know, and it was just also just the feeling in there. We both felt it multiple times, and it was hot. Like when we filmed this, it was very hot out. It was like 80 something degrees. We're sweating, you know, and then there was a couple times where we had some very like cold drafts come by, and we could even grabbed the meter and went around, and you could a little bit of fluctuation in temperature. We were hearing knocks, bangs. We heard there's a disembodied voice I actually heard in the episode when I watched it, because I watch all our episodes live on the TV because I want to see what they look like on the big TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard a disembodied voice that I didn't capture when I was editing it. And we got some really spooky EVPs as well. It was just, yeah, I don't know. And just that place, like, it didn't have any graffiti, anything. It just looked like one day they just kind of closed up shop and pushed everything aside, and there's still a lot of furniture and stuff in there, and medical documents and records and stuff. So it's just like a very eerie feeling as well.
So it's like I guess you could say like pure energy. Nothing's been tainted.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not like anybody, like, it's like when you go to Ledgeworth, there's just like graffiti like everywhere. There's always like kids and vandals and stuff going in there and doing stuff. This place is like untapped, and it's just like they were just like something was just waiting for somebody to come in there. It was.
Change subject. I felt when I used to visit this orphanage by my job, I used to go, and I was like, I became friends with a security guard, and just being in that building by myself was like nothing touched. Like, what, it was just you just waiting. Like, okay, I know something, something here is not good, but just waiting. It's that pure energy of like just okay, it's just like a sitting duck. Like,
yeah, great. Right, exactly. That's almost how you felt, like a sitting duck, But cool. Yeah, so that wraps it up. I mean, we had seven episodes in that season. I think on both seasons. So that's 14 episodes we got out right now. And we already got another one filmed, ready to rock. So but James, yeah, you said you watched a couple episodes. That's awesome. I love to hear that.
Yeah, I get a kick out of it. I think because a lot of the places you've gone to, I've been there. Joe and I were talking about the one you did with Chessie over at the House of Refuge. I told when I was watching it during the Delco method, people, man, my neck started, the hairs on the back of my head, the whole 9 yards. And it was the woman that used to run it that I felt coming to me. There's too many people. It was freaking her out. And that's Joe told me that's the same room her hair's in also.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Mary, that was wild too. We got the name Mary, and then I'm like looking around, like, who's Mary? What's Mary? Like looking at some of the plaques on the wall, and then we realized that was her hair wreath. It was Mary's hair wreath from the. Yeah. She was one of the.
She seemed very upset that all the people are coming and going out of the house.
Yep. Yeah, because that's like that. And that's another crazy piece of history too. That house, that location, and they lived there, and that's what they did, was they lived in that house and looking for shipwrecks. And there was 2 shipwrecks back to back, like one night and then the following night. And there was like 100 and something people that I think that didn't make it, like, and it was crazy, and these people live in this little house walking the beaches every day looking for survivors. There was 10 of them originally, and that was the last one. The last one that remains after the hurricanes and everything.
Now they were 40 miles apart, up and down, up the coast, up the east coast of Florida.
Yep.
And I don't know, man. That place, I didn't go the time you guys went to go film. I went after that. We did an event at this place. It was my first time, and I didn't know about the hair until later, because I was like, we're gonna go to this place. I don't want to watch this episode. I don't want to be front loaded, with stuff. And I remember I was with Scotty, and Chessie, and we're doing an EVP session with some people, and I'm playing back the EVP, and I have my eyes closed. I'm trying to focus, but as I'm doing that, I just start seeing this vision of this woman standing by the window, like looking out the window. It's literally the room next to where I'm standing. I could see everything. It looks exactly the same, but she's standing there looking out the window, small collared white long sleeve shirt with like an apron and like this, long skirt. I'll never forget it. And I finished playing the EVP, and I was like, okay guys, like real quick, before we start the next session, I just want to share with you. I just, I had my eyes closed. I was trying to focus on everything, and this is what I saw. So Chessie grabs me and she goes, "Come here, I want you to see something." And I was like, "Okay." So we walk over to the front room, and she's like, "Was this who you saw?" And she points at a picture, and sure as hell, it's this woman that I had just seen. And I was like, "Oh wow, like that's freaking crazy!" Like absolutely, I had like goosebumps. And she's like, "Oh yeah, that's her hair on the wall." Because back in the early 1900s, 1800s, they would do a lot of art with like the human hair after somebody had passed, or they would,
And what's
a lot
strange
of
is
stuff like that.
Chessie, most hair wreaths are postpartum, like after they pass or whatever. But she was telling me that she was actually making her own hair wreath as in her older age. So she was actually making that when she was still alive, which is a little odd, but I don't know. But that's that's wild.
That same night is where we also did a laser vortex experiment, and we have this picture. And I understand with the vortex and with anything pareidolia and this and that, but it looks like there is a freaking person like coming out of this. Like I'll post a picture online. It should be on my Instagram. If not, I'll repost it on the stories. But it's one of the most insane pictures I've ever seen. And I was conducting the experiment, so I have people just all standing all around me, just snapping photos, and it's just in this one photo, and it's mind blowing.
Have you done it more of that? The vortex and the one
we haven't.
You told me about that, and
yeah.
Cool.
We do it every once in a while during our events, because we like to include the people that come out. We want them to participate as much as possible in the events. It's an active ghost hunt, and they're investigators for the night.
Plus, it looks cool as shit.
It looks cool as hell. But I'll do it like at Yesteryear Village a lot. We have the Firehouse Museum. It's not an enclosed space. I mean, it's in a shelter, but it's not. It has like holes like for ventilation and all that stuff. It's not like doing it inside of a house. I don't want to fog out one of these houses with all these and these antiques and all this stuff. And I don't think it would ruin it, but you never know. But yeah, we do it every once in a while, and we've got some weird stuff on there. Like again, like some stuff that I could be like, but some other stuff that I'm like, that's interesting.
It's funny because I made one too, and I was testing it in my garage, and it was before I bought a fog machine. So I was like smoking cigarettes, like chiefing on cigarettes, like back to back, like chain smoking them, like to get a fog going. And yeah, I almost passed out. Like it wasn't good. But yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we like to test different things, and this is, who knows, you got to try different stuff. And
I've seen online the small mini fog machines. I saw actually.
Yeah, I saw a couple of those. I bought one of the big ridiculous ones. But yeah, they have a new, like the small ones now for like photography.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You can actually make one out of a vape if you put fog fluid in a vape cartridge and then hook up like an air pump to it and then hit the button and it'll like the old school ones that like people used to chief on and like blow those big clouds.
Now, do you use a strobe light with the fog?
No, you use a mirror on a fan tilted at an angle, and then you point a laser at it, preferably like a red laser, something that's gonna show. Or if you have like a strong, maybe like a strong green laser, that would also show pretty well. But I've seen better results with the red, but whatever. You aim it at the mirror, it's spinning and it's causing a cone shape.
Exactly.
With the fog coming out through it.
And then when the smoke goes through it looks like nothing. Like it looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. It's pretty wild. But in going back to your strobe question, I just bought a strobe, an LED strobe with different colors and like a little remote. It's
Well, you
battery
don't
powered.
use a strobe, it like slows everything down.
It's slow. It's
Yeah.
easier to
Well, I've
capture
seen
faster.
that done with the fog and the strobe
Mhm.
because it makes whatever you're capturing a little bit stand out a little bit more because of the smoke.
Right.
Try that sometime and tell me the results you get.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I bought it for. I was going to take it and put it in a room and set the strobe and leave a static camera on it and to see if you can capture a shadow figure or something moving. Because with the strobes, for some reason you can capture, due to the frame rate of your camera and different things, you can capture stuff a little
Yeah.
bit easier than you could with the naked eye. So yeah, I just bought one. I'm going to try it. So when the time is right, and we got time at a place, like sometimes when we do our private events, it's not something I could fly around with and everything. But yeah, for sure, I definitely want to test it.
But so something like that, you has to be some ventilation. You can't do it like in a house, right?
Yeah, so the stuff that they use in a fog machine, it's glycol based, so it's non-hazardous to anything. It's just more like it will set off a smoke alarm,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and plus, if you do it in a small confined place and there's a couple people, they're not going to see what the hell's going on. They're going to bang it into shit and everything. So yeah, we and it's real easy to fog somewhere out like quick. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so we try to do it somewhere where it's a little bit more ventilated,
I need to go spot Letchworth. We should actually.
Yeah, somewhere like that, like when there's not an event and people because you fog it out and people can't see and then they're falling over each other and stuff. It could turn into a real shit show.
If you brought that out there, though, man, I don't know. I would be really interested to see what results.
You think
come out of
a
that
fog
thing.
machine would run off your battery pack?
Yeah.
I know the heating element on it draws a lot of amperage.
Yeah. I think it's like 220.
If you did that at Letchworth, you'd have to call the police first, or they think there's an active fire.
That's
we
true.
do it underground. Do it underground where they can't see us.
As long as you'll stick your house out of the building, good to go. I don't know.
Yeah, James was talking about the chain smoking and the laser and the strobe. My wife makes a joke like every time she comes out in the garage and I'm missing for a while and I'm out here, she comes out to me doing some weird shit in the garage, like making something. She came out one time and I had like this stuffed animal like cut open with the fluff out of it, and like I was putting a REM pod like mechanism inside of a teddy bear, and I got wires and shit hanging out of this thing. And she's like, "What?" She didn't even. She just looked like this and shook her head and just closed the door and walked back inside. We haven't used that in a little while either. The teddy bear REM I made.
No, we haven't used that in a while, and we were getting some pretty good stuff with that thing, man.
Yeah,
we took that out to the DevilTree and the South Florida DevilTree, not to be confused with the New Jersey DevilTree. Because there's DevilTrees pretty much in every state if you start looking. Yeah, man. But that little REM bear, they did pretty good. Did pretty good out there. I kept going, oh no, that's mosquitoes, and they're like, no, that's not. It's going beep 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 like that.
Yeah.
It was a fun. It was a hot night.
Yeah, that's another thing, man. I envy you guys with the heat. What's the temperature like up there right now?
It's actually cool now. Actually, it's after it rained earlier. Yes, and it's really nice, beautiful. The windows open in an apartment now. The fan on. It's beautiful outside now. Yeah, I like that. It's getting that time of this time of year. I'm switching to Halloween mode slowly.
I feel like you're always in Halloween mode though, Sean. You're like you're on it with what's the Halloween store? God, everyone's gonna hate me for it. Spirit Halloween. Sean, as soon as they start coming out, Sean every year is like, hey, yeah, here we go. Like this video. Yeah.
I envy you guys because it's like I think today was the actual temperature was 90 something and it felt like 100 and it's been wild. We've been breaking records down here, man. It's been so damn hot.
I'll tell you what, when I was up there,
it rained on and off all day with thunderstorms, but I think what is it, about 80?
Yeah,
about that.
God, I wish.
Yeah,
but it feels a little cooler because of the humidity down here. It hits you in the face like a wet rag.
Yep.
When I was up in New York a couple weeks ago, it was the first time first time I've gone to Letchworth Village that there isn't snow on the ground, so that was a plus.
It was overgrown, wasn't it?
It was overgrown. It was beautiful. It was so green. We saw a nice buck when we were coming out of the food services building. But all I was thinking, I was like, man, like I wish I'm gonna get home, and it's gonna be freaking miserable in this heat. I am so comfortable here. I don't even. We walked like the entire like property, pretty much, like at least the main section, and I wasn't sweaty. I was like so good. I was like, yeah, man, like this is the best. I would have
Like-
been freaking dying a long time ago.
I've never investigated when it was snowing out, and I want to. I think that'd be awesome. Like even when we were up in College Hill, it was pretty brisk, and I had my jacket on my hoodie, and it was just super comfortable like that. Down here right now, like during the summertime, it is so brutal. Like it's in a lot of these historic homes, they don't have AC, and everything. You're dying.
And when you're investigating, you kind of don't want an AC because you don't want that sound in the background.
And sometimes it's good to like let it roll for a little while before and then shut it down when they're going in.
It's like, ready, go.
I mean, we're fat guys, dude. We're just thinking about
Speak for yourself, bro.
Hey, I was thinking
beautiful.
I was thinking earlier that Devin actually we had to plan like a field trip down to like Transatlantic Asylum down in West Virginia. You guys been there ever?
Yeah, Trans-Allegheny. Yeah,
You been there?
I haven't been there.
It's on
I
my
really
bucket
want
list.
to. Yeah, but no, we need to definitely plan like a little something to get together, whether it's us going up there or meeting somewhere in the middle.
I come down at least 3 times a year because my family's still there.
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about October. Just a quick plug. I'm doing a lecture, the first for War Party North in New Milford, Connecticut Library in October. I think it's the 3rd or the 4th. I'll be posting it. My daughter got me in.
Awesome,
It worked out great for me.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Anybody local up there that's listening in, make sure you go check out James doing that lecture. It's actually about that time too. So James, can you tell people where they can find you on Facebook and things of that nature if they want to get a hold of you?
Because I'm such a great person with this technology, you can find me on James, what am I on? JamesMeader.com or War Party North on Facebook.
Awesome.
And then we're all linked in there, I believe.
Yeah.
So
and if you ever need to get a hold of James too, and for some reason you could always go through the War Party website, you send the message and it goes to Eric. Eric will get it over to James and he'll reach out to you. Sean, where can people find you and look at and check out some of your content?
You can find me on Instagram at GhostCowboy248. Facebook, which I'm really young, but I'm on anyway. But also YouTube. But I say our goal north is to conquer the northeast here.
That's right. You guys are well on your way.
Definitely get our name out there. A legitimate paranormal team.
Right. We love what we're doing. No fame, no all that BS. Just keeping true. It's like I said,
about doing the work
in this world of knowledge and learning. You always, and I've learned so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And like that's what I was saying too. Like if anything comes up and a residential is needed, something like that, these guys are, they've been doing it a long time. They're really good people. They're reliable and ethical and they know what they're doing. They're good guys. So check them out. That's for sure. It's all under the War Party umbrella. And if you guys want to follow and check out any of my content, the easiest way is if you go to my website, flaparanormalresearcher.com, and I have links out to my social media, things of that nature, and you can find out what's coming up on about the haunted files and different things of that nature. And we have a bunch of events coming up, and Eric's not here to help me with that. Usually I refer to him, but I know we have an event Friday at Old Davy School, 8:00. You can get your tickets at olddavieschoolhouse.org.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then Joe, maybe you'll help me out. We got some other events coming up as well, right?
We got let's see, I actually have my calendar right in front of me. So this Friday, Old Davy Schoolhouse. And then we have let's see. We are going to be at UltraCon in West Palm Beach. That's going to be Friday, September 20th through the 22nd. So we're going to have a table out there. We're going to be hanging out. Good friend of ours, other paranormal investigator, Bill Slevin's going to be there. So come by, talk to him as well. But War Party, it's something we do every year and get in front of the community, our local community down here. So it's a great event. Mick Foley's going to be there. Mankind. I can't.
Really?
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to go meet him because that's one of my all-time favorite wrestlers growing up. So that's the only time I've been like, yes, I'm going to meet somebody cool. Yeah, it's like taking me back, man. But so we're going to be at UltraCon. Then the next event that we have at Yesteryear Village is not until October 19th. That's going to be during their Spookyville celebration. It's like basically a big costume party for adults. They serve alcohol. They serve all sorts of food. There'll be adult trick-or-treating all over the grounds. This is at Yesteryear Village. And then a couple of us from War Party will be taking some guests through some of the houses and doing a little mini investigation with them there. Yeah, it's a great time. Again, it supports Yesteryear Village and everywhere that we do events with is everything. All the money goes right back to the Historical Society themselves. We don't make a dime off of them. We do it because we love these places. They've allowed us, to come into there, and trust us with these historic locations, and we're truly appreciative. And we love investigating them. I love it. I love Yesteryear.
There's the boss there. Chiming in.
There you go. TIFF Theater. That's right. We got TIFF Theater coming up. That's October 12th, I believe.
Yep. So that's going to be pretty cool too. TIFF Theater is in a place that we filmed one of our episodes in on the Haunted Files. It's in Tifton, Georgia. And I'm pretty excited. They're actually going to air our episode from the TIFF Theater on the TIFF Theater. So like on the big screen. So going to be pretty cool. And then we're going to be doing a Q&A on that. We got Rock Island Paracon in Illinois that we're going to be attending. It's sponsored by Paraflix, and we're going to be headlining that event. We also got Gilchrist County Jail is doing a Halloween event. I don't remember the date.
Yeah, that's going to be Saturday, October 26th. Gilchrist County Jail will be there as well. And we'll be going in and out of the old jail, probably doing some demonstrations as well. So I'm trying to get some live EVPs with guests that come through. Maybe have some people sit in and doing a Delco method. We'll try a bunch of different stuff with our guests. So if you're going to be out in the area, that's Trenton, Florida, the Gilchrist County Jail, October 26th.
I have a question.
Yes.
Now, when you guys do a public event and you do like a say, Joe, you do a quick mini investigation, what do you like? What do you expect? What do you expect people to get? Like do you ask them I don't know. It's kind of how to say is like what what are people?
Well, we explain the equipment that we use. We explain how it works, why we use it. Some of the technical stuff, and then we allow the guests to partake in using it. If we do an EVP session, we try to get everybody involved, everybody asking questions. We'll try to get guests to sit in and do the Delco, have them experience that, not us. I mean, we do it all the time, so let them actually experience it for themselves, but everything we do is live and in person. We explain to people up front, that ghost hunting is fishing. It's some days you're gonna get a bite, other days you're not. You're gonna go home with nothing. So
lots of patience.
Right. So
and sometimes what I'll even do is if I have a small group and I walk them in somewhere, I say, hey, listen, we're gonna try an EVP session. I want everybody to be quiet, but I want you, when I point at you, I want you to say your name. And I go, hello, we're here. We're just here to talk. We don't mean any disrespect. We're just trying to establish communication. If you could, we're going to have everybody introduce themselves and say their name. and then I point and everybody will say the name, and I'll say, can you say one of our names back to us? Can you repeat somebody's name that you like? And then we'll listen back and see if we can hear anything, and just get people interacting and get people involved.
Yeah, and interested and educated, because that's a big thing. It's every time we start off the event, obviously we introduce ourselves and we'll break off into groups, but we'll get some questions. And we were doing one yesterday, and I had this little 8-year-old girl who was coming for the event, and then she was like, "Come here." And so I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" She's like, "Are we gonna conjure demons?" And I was like, what? So I had to literally give a PSA before we started, going, guys, this is real life, and this is TV. Not saying that doesn't exist, but it's very few and far between. And I promise that nothing like that here.
And yeah, if that was going on here, we're not going to do a public event here with children.
No, especially not with little kids like that right now. But she was so adamant, and I was like, man, I was like, hey, I looked at the parents. I was like, you guys need to check out what she's watching, man, because
the Travel Channel.
This ain't the ghost shows I grew up with.
Sounds like years of therapy.
Yeah, right.
Too much. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, so it's a lot about education, and we show people we come at the paranormal with a lot of respect, for these people. We believe that these are people, and we treat them like they were people. We joke around. We do, it's not all when did you die and this and that. No, I do a lot of questions did you like hamburgers or hot dogs? You like ketchup or mustard? We get a lot of stuff like that. What's your favorite ice cream? Do you like vanilla, strawberry, chocolate? What's up? And a lot of the times we'll get a lot of EVPs to those freaking questions rather than any other question that has been asked in the past. And a lot of guests will come up and they're like, I never thought to even think about that. I was like, well, if you're trying to make a friend, wouldn't you want to know about them?
And think about it, right? If there's a couple spirits hanging out in this building, and they're sitting there, and these teams are coming in and back to back, and they're like, when did you die? Like, what's going on? They're probably like, right? Not this again. Yeah. So and plus I always say that you get more bees with honey. You know what I mean? Provoking and doing that, and that's just all bad news. All the way around. I
was thinking, James, maybe Saturday when Luckworth, I'll do the Cineport method, play some old music. It's kind of maybe
I like doing that. That's
what we did, Joe. Too. First time you came up here with Mrs. We downstairs in that same section. We got something just
I'm also a firm believer in frequency and music.
It always works. It always gets something going.
Yeah, right. It stirs up some sort of a memory, something.
Well, I mean, going back and I might be going off in a little rabbit hole here, but just going back to Native Americans and Aboriginals and Native peoples and their chanting and their stomping and their and the drums and all these things, because they felt that the vibrations and the frequency would tap into the spirit world, would help drum up things like that. That's why they always did that. So I'm a firm believer in music. Music is very powerful, and different frequencies and things of that nature. So yeah. I mean, we could start over and do this for another hour if we start getting in that rabbit hole, right?
I was going to say, music is the foundation of how languages started. It's they would communicate through sounds and grunts and different things like that. It's essentially music. It's all so there's definitely something to it, and I know we have a couple other little mechanisms to we have what is it, the EVP, the EMF. It basically converts the audio signal into an EMF signal if you plug it in onto the speaker, and you won't hear it ourselves, but it'll translate it into an EMF frequency, and we'll record EVPs during that, and we can get some stuff. So again, and try different types of music. Don't stick to just the music of the time period. Try some crazy new newer stuff. We went to another place that we were playing death metal, with Ernesto, and some of the EVPs that we got back were just like, what the hell was that? Like, things like that.
And,
like it'll incite a response, and
there's you can download. You can
know.
also download free online on these apps for your phone. Frequency generators.
Yeah,
and you could play with the different hertz, and it's just a monotone. Like you could just play like white noise, you could play pink noise, brown noise, or you could even mess with the straight frequencies, and you could set it and put it onto a Bluetooth speaker and just let it crank and just
Right, exactly.
pollute the air with these this energy, and then see what happens afterwards. Joe and I were doing that, and somebody would say like, okay, well, if you just listen to a frequency, your mind could play tricks on you and you could start to hear different things or whatever. But we were hearing the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, how do you like, we were starting to hear like
conversations
and voices and different things like just coming through this frequency. So yeah, that's another thing that could be tried. But like I said, we're kind of running a little over time here. We'll let you guys get back to it. Thank you again, James, for joining us tonight. And
thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And make sure, guys, that you check him out. And check out, go follow War Party North team on Facebook, and make sure you go check out Ghost Cowboy on Instagram. And Joe over here, where can people find you?
You can find me at Joe Hunts Ghost on Instagram. It's pretty much it. I have Facebook for no reason really anymore. But yeah, you can find me at Joe Hunts Ghost, or pretty much anything with War Party Paranormal, warpartyparanormal.com. You could catch me on a couple episodes of the Haunted Files. You can see me on reels that all of our other teammates post, because I barely post any of my stuff. So but I'm around, and yeah, come shoot me a message. Let's bullshit together. Let's talk about some ghosts and fun stuff. But I guys, thanks for coming on again, and we're looking forward to what War Party North brings to the table, and in the upcoming months. Like you got already October, you got that lecture coming up.
I have a couple in the works, so I'm fingers across.
Yeah,
like I say.
Yeah. And anything we could do to help, that's what we're here for.
Thanks, appreciate it. One more thing, everybody, like I always say, stay skeptical, my friends.
Yes, that's right.
Please.
That's right.
Not everything that goes bump in the night is paranormal.
That's right.
Especially
Thank you, guys, and we will see you next Monday.
Take care.
See ya.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.